Good day, friends. I am Dr. Ishtiaq Ahmed. There is good news after this 4 days of military confrontation between India and Pakistan. The good news is that day before yesterday, General Sahir Shamshad Mirza, Chairman, Joint Chief of Staff Committee uh, from the Pakistani side, issued a statement that Indian and Pakistani troops are withdrawing to the position they were at on the 22nd of April 2025. Remember, on the 22nd of April this year, there was a dastardly terrorist attack at Pahalgam in the Indian Kashmir, in which 27 precious lives were killed of civilians by terrorists who first asked about the religion of their victim and then shot them dead, killing Hindus. Now we are told that Pakistani and Indian troops are back to their normal position. From the Indian side, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Anil Chauhan, has said that in this 4 days of military exchanges, he found that Pakistan also conducted the war in a rational manner, which means in a responsible manner. There was no remote attempt even to, resort to the nuclear option. And more importantly, he conceded that in the aerial combat, India has suffered the loss of its advanced fighters. I'm sure that includes the Rafale and the Russian aircraft. How many he did not mention, but this is the first admission at the highest level by a general of the Indian Army, general or whatever his rank is. So that's good news. Both sides know that a conventional war or a nuclear war cannot be won by either. If they resort to the ultimate nuclear weapons, it means the end of civilization in both India and Pakistan. Millions of people will be killed. Now, if you keep that in mind, there are certain things for us to learn. First, I will begin with Pakistan. Why? Because India has placed on me a ban on my YouTube channels, despite my credentials as a public intellectual whose whole effort has been invested in promoting peace, pleading for dialogue. Yet for them, I bear a Muslim name, I have a Pakistani origin, and I even act independently in my programs. For the current Indian government, which is used to the sycophancy of people around it, it's the weaponized media that they use against people like me, sending their trolls, insulting, demeaning us, saying that why should we want any dialogue with Pakistan? You are a failure. We are the world's fourth economy now. Now, actually, that is questioned. Japan still has the number 4 position, I saw in a recent program. And more importantly, even if India is number 4, and that is, I would say, good for India, it's done well economically, no doubt. I've gone there and seen with my own eyes the big changes in the last 10 years. So there is no doubt that the BJP government has managed to create infrastructure, and to promote its economy, although the manufacturing sector has gone down. But still, if you look at the per capita income, how the this uh, the national wealth of India is distributed among its people, India still has is at the bottom of the countries with the lowest per capita income. So millions of people are ravaged in India by poverty. And yet in India there is this hubris, this arrogance. Why should we talk to Pakistan? And they believed that militarily they can simply smash Pakistan. And the reason is that under Narendra Modi, their own free press has been muzzled. Journalists who do not fall in line with the official propaganda are thrown out of their job, and they are trolled, persecuted. The minorities are targeted, especially Muslims. This is all too true, and the whole world knows this. I'll come to that in a moment. But then I turn to Pakistan. For Pakistan, it is important to learn that although they have been able to withstand the Indian attack, but in a long drawn out war, India does have great advantages. It was able to strike nine uh, places with precision, which they had identified as hubs of terrorism. And then they struck Pakistani airfields and did inflict a lot of damage. So Pakistan should learn from this. No more uh, indulgence of terrorism. India cannot be brought to its knees by terrorism, and you can't win Kashmir through terrorism. Absolutely no chance. I would even say that this war has, in a way, been a major setback to any normalization of the political system. Instead of going towards a proper, substantive, representative democracy, the army or the military has been strengthened, and we have now a field marshal, Asim Munir, at the helm of affairs. We do have a prime minister. He has spoken well in favor of peace. He wants to talk to India, which I think is good, and India should understand that it is important to keep the dialogue going on. In an earlier video, I said that when the Cold War was going on, the Americans and the Soviets were still in contact. So I don't understand why this, arrogance that we don't want to talk to Pakistan. We have to talk to Pakistan. And Pakistan should learn that promoting terrorism, thriving on the ideology of hatred, will do no good in terms of neighborly relations or in terms of defending the rights of your own citizens who are not believers the way you want them to be. Pakistan has a serious problem of dealing with its own minorities. The BJP definitely targets minorities, this is true, politically, in slogan mongering, even attacks. But we systematically persecute our minorities. So the record of Pakistan in comparison to India is much worse. I say that politically this is a setback for the subcontinent, for its chances to uh, uh, develop in a democratic direction. Now we come to the world. Do understand, this is my plea to India and Pakistan both. The world is only interested in their own interests. Nobody is going to come to your rescue unless they have their own vested interest in this. Pakistan has China as its uh, main support now, and its technology, its aerial devices, all these things have proven to be superior to what the Indians have. But remember, the Indians will now acquire equipment to meet this threat from India, from Pakistan. So another arms race is going to take place. Pakistan, which is already pauperized in terms of its people, not its corrupt and decadent ruling class, but its common people, will be further impoverished when the burden of this combat has to be borne. India must learn the lesson that unless you have conclusive proof, as you did in 2008 when terrorist attacks emanating from Pakistan, led by the Lashkar-e-Taiba, went on in a rampage, killing 170 people in Mumbai, and the whole world condemned Pakistan. Absolutely. Again in 2001, when the Indian Parliament was attacked, the world condemned the terrorism which had taken place, and everybody knew its roots were somewhere in Pakistan. The Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, its leaders are both on the list of terrorist organizations of world bodies. So no more adventure like these promoting terrorism. Even if there was no direct Pakistan's involvement in what happened at Pahalgam, the very fact that the two-nation theory was invoked by Field Marshal Asim Munir, the way the terrorists understood it, they attacked the civilians, not Indian combat troops, but common tourists, and killed them mercilessly on the basis of their religion. I think this was an evil way of you know, promoting hatred between Hindus and Muslims. We have two states now, and both have minorities. India, a much bigger minority of Muslims. People in Pakistan should remember that. Your misadventures hit the Muslim community of India, and you must act responsibly. Regarding the Kashmir issue, unless there is an all-out war which destroys both India and Pakistan, I see no other solution than that the line of control becomes the international border, and we start promoting trade and cultural visits and so on. People say this is idealism. I am saying this is nonsense when you talk like this. This is the only way for Pakistan to survive, even for India. Its economic upward movement will be arrested by this sort of conflict with Pakistan. China is there to defend Pakistan, to arm Pakistan. And so both have been able to prove their superiority in one sphere of the combat. And therefore it's an equal thing which has ended. And the world is not listening to India the way it did in 2008 or at Kargil even earlier. Why? Because there is no conclusive evidence that the terrorist attacks of 22nd April 2025 were actually ordered by Pakistan. So I think this arrogance, hubris I call it, of India has done a lot of harm diplomatically for India and for the world media as well. The Indian media is today it is a neo-fascist way of acting, persecuting opponents, putting in jail journalists, muzzling newspapers, YouTubers. And what is the result? There are these people living in a fool's paradise, imagining that they can impose their will on another state, let's say Pakistan. That's nonsense. Even before the hostilities began, I did warn the Indians that it will not be a walkover. Remember, and that has been proven very well. Both have an advantage, and both are now going to arm themselves to take care of what is lacking in their own preparation. But at the bottom, what is this? The whole world is trying to build peace, and we are seeking some sort of resolution, if you want to call it, through war. It's a contradiction in terms. So, Shri Narendra Modi ji, please don't issue these obscene, vulgar statements like कि अब तुम रोटी अपनी कमाओ या गोली मेरे हाथ में है. What a thing to say for a prime minister of the biggest democracy in the world. It's embarrassing. And for the Pakistani generals who actually have Asim Munir, Field Marshal, please, for God's sake, this is not the 7th century. Nobody's is going to come riding a horse and walk into India. That is over. You have to be humble, you have to be modest. You should have Pakistan's best defense against aggression. On that, we are all very clear. Every state has the right to preserve its sovereignty, its territorial integrity, and therefore, there is no scope for resolving conflicts by recourse to violence. And so, terrorism, promoting in each other's country, interfering in each other's countries' separatist movements, insurgencies, are counterproductive. The other fellow will also make use of it. I think a comprehensive peace should be discussed now. Both have proven their mettle. India's good enough to take on Pakistan, and Pakistan is good enough to defend itself. This is a fact. And things can go from here onwards. It's time to dialogue, it's time to talk. And I hope my pleas, I've been doing it now for such a long time, that I think I'm only vindicated that the only way